prior to Earth. The other species contributed. The excavation took shape. A mound was formed beside the ditch, and we pulled from the ditch an enormous wooden frame. We said, "Was it you? Was it your people?" The frame was caked in dirt. We could see indentations. Were there jewels there? Had it been connected to some machinery? I see where it leads. It's a long way down, but I think I see the grips and footholds that will let me get across. Only now, my father tells me that I must carry my sister. There's no way she can cross herself. I bend down, and he puts her on my shoulders. I look across at the small places where I'll step and the spaces between them, and I realize there's no way I can possibly keep my balance. With her on my shoulders, our center of gravity is too high. I know how strong I am. I see exactly where I'll jump to a small rock, only big enough for one of my feet, and be unable to stay upright, and will fall into the canyon. Oh, I'm not parsley, I'm not soy. I'm not a living beast to be sacrificed, nor the fecund earth from which she pulls dirt from the planter, grins and swoons as she tries to put it in her mouth, and I prevent her. Some filing cabinet is exploding into the night. It's just sitting. I've lost my numbers. How the fuck do I transfer them? A place to start. I don't have to live forever or be happy. I don't have to have a premise. I don't have to know myself. I don't have to be young or likable. I don't have to be good in bed. I don't have to exude anything or be or not be. I don't have to move my butt in one direction rather than another. I don't have to get out of bed. I don't have to respect anyone. I don't have to practice. I don't have to be interesting. I don't actually have to be worthwhile or distinctive in any way. Thin, healthy, clean-smelling. I don't have to take care of my teeth. I don't have to hide pints of ice cream or pornography. I don't have to be a husband. I don't have to be a father. I can make time to be an insect. I can lean over all day and watch the garbage disposal. I can surprise old friends with my loose flesh. I can fail even at being genuinely repulsive. I can sit in an evacuated chair as if I were the one absent. I can believe that someone would be disappointed that I renege on my promise. I can have motives. I can contract. Anger is a floating tooth just to the side of my vision. To hope. What the hat holds is handleable, seeding cedars to the seedless, even sands in flame in hard masses, then gourd, more in amazement, more in misery, more in misgiving, a mess, but still seeding, frequently, the mindless maples, azaleas, and wisteria, weaving air-like intensities flustered as facts unfitted from argument, a gaffe, a source of giving, like the great curve of belly bound in aquatic blossoms and orchestral blooms sweeping sleep into leaves and foraging. Eye vessels, fingers, heart chambers, noisy blood. These creatures kicking in fluid toward the fluctuant boundary. Prior to air. The sea is slushy and the sky doesn't finish its sentences. The sky is all awareness and the sea is punctual. Autumn is cleaner, if you like decay. The earth is vulnerable in all seasons. By satellite, you can see the massive storms lined up over both oceans. We closed the basement door and could hear what sounded like cars or sheds sucked up into the updraft. Expulsion seeming without pressure. It made me think of what it would sound like if an arrow shot through a larynx. If I forget a friend's name, is that a sign of incipient Alzheimer's? Or am I angry with him? He's a choking spy. Why is that never recognized? Life is tendered with blackened hands, and these are my daughter's blackened hands. Something's pounding an alarm. The office is a shambles, and it's surging. This disguise, to be fascinated. When I upgrade my cell phone, I panic. Among the portraits of the edible, she pulls dirt from the planter. Civilization credits. If they're so fucking advanced, why design it with such a high center of gravity? The war against evil is entering its 5th century, and the war against introspection is entering its 4th century, and the war against disorder predates all chronicles. Centuries of education have finally succeeded. Massacre the deviating, repulsive, mindless fanatics. Unity is yummy. Everyone is strapping on their shelter bonds. If memory is your underwear, your overcoat is obliteration. Please indicate on your employment form if you prefer your civilization credits in pornography, sedatives, liposuction, breast or penis enhancement, gambling chips, virtual murder, or entry into the pension lottery. Eternal dominance is the price of comfort. Amnesia is the prerequisite. Sarah and Lily. She is one of two. She is half of one, and the other has vanished and keeps vanishing. She has outlived everything except that vanishing. She is less than half, and more than all, containing all who did not come with her. Her memory follows their hands, waving and shrinking faces, and helplessly chases them, screaming warnings along that other road. She is still imploring them. They never stop dying. She is one of two, half of one, the one who could not survive, who bolted recklessly from safety with toddler and infant and fugitive husband, from Hungary to Portugal, lived in Nashville, Cleveland, and Miami, lived, and Tibor became Teddy, Marika became Miriam, and the new one, Hank, our little Yankee. One of two, and half of one, and less than half, and more than all. Two stylish girls, identical in a very old photo, arms around each other's waists. Their eyes look into the camera with such calm openness, such clear understanding that the camera's moment merely indicates its truth. Everything except that separation she has outlived. Everything except that divergence she has buried. Millions have been born and have died. Entire spans of lives have been unfolded and expired since that photo was taken. 91 years old, she holds the picture and implores the one, the half, the nothing, the all who stands beside her. I told you we have to go now. Now. We have to go now. We can't stay here. Why didn't you believe me? Prior to water. Let me caution you from the sea. The fresh water is unpotable. The levers are being pulled elsewhere. You can throw bricks in the well, but who owns the system? The possums, rabbits, deer, and everything else in the suburban woods have caught the smell of it and are heading out, further, somewhere. We'll know if we follow them, if we can, if they don't vanish into something, some analogy. Only happiness. I want them, the girls, only to be happy, always happy. I try to protect them from any sight of violence or pain or sadness or fear. And when I watch them laughing and playing and dancing to music by stamping their feet in a little toddler flamenco, I've never felt so happy. I dissolve in happiness to think I live with these perfect, happy creatures, and I have to protect them from all distress. They will never watch some fool on TV blow somebody's brains out, some hero or villain. There's no difference. They're never going to see it. They'll never watch the War Channel, never know the world is entering the next Great Depression and maybe we'll lose our house. And they'll never know about the Shoah and the 6 million, or the dead at Gettysburg, or the Marne, the conquest and extermination of the Indians and the centuries of slavery and the Middle Passage, and the killing fields of Cambodia. They'll never play Grand Theft Auto or Total Soldier Fuck You Up Death Kit, and they'll never know that George Bush was ever president, or that the Kennedys and King and Malcolm and Rabin were assassinated. They'll never know about 9/11 or the massacres at Mumbai or the eternal war on terror. Only happiness. No cruelty, no stupidity will ever enter their lives. No fear. But I've failed already. They already know the score. There's Hannah clutching her blanket, Taya screaming because she can't find her bunny. They can't name it. They don't know more than 15 words, but they know there's something terrifying that has to be kept away. And they know that their mother and I aren't capable of doing it. This is the last poem. It's called The Plummet. The nut stops here. The child was there before, scalding the future. Let me be permeable. Let me pick up the small hitchhiker wading to her waist in blood and sperm. Let me carry her over. The view to the past is clear. Wombs and testicles back to the invertebrates. Infinity of ferns copulate to coal. But it stops here. The silent client, insolvent, the maximum highway, the child trusting a stretched hill. What was buoyant and fluid plummets in air. New morning, new light, the room unchanged. These vestibules repeat their ovulations.